So the goal is for us to create at least 70% of these UI elements like today. So how we'll do it is I would you would get on the Figma file. Are you joining with your system?
Yeah, I'm not joining. I'm currently on my phone. I don't think it can work on the Figma for the phone, I guess. I don't think it can work on the Figma. I'm
Okay,
currently joining with my phone.
okay, then I guess it would be me demonstrating how to create these elements. But what I wanted was I would do a demonstration and then you guys would be able to follow along. Yeah, that would have been great, but it's fine. So we'll just do that. And so buttons, I think for buttons, we have three major button states. Or rather, not button states, button types. We have the primary buttons, we have the secondary buttons, and the tertiary buttons. So we're going to create all three. We're going to create primary buttons, create secondary buttons, and tertiary buttons. So the primary button, which is the most prominent button on your design, that is what will be used for primary. That is what is used for your primary actions, for like the most important actions. Then we have secondary buttons, which are less prominent. And are to be designed to be less prominent. They are used for secondary actions. Imagine you have two actions and you want the user to choose, but you want to tell the user that okay, this one is more important than the other. You actually have to make secondary and primary buttons to distinct them, or else it could lead to confusion if maybe you have two primary buttons or two secondary buttons side by side. So you want to give them a prompt or a push in the right direction that okay, this is the one that is most important and this is the one that is less important. So that's what you do with primary and secondary buttons. Then tertiary buttons are used for the least prominent actions or least important actions. So these buttons are just text and then with a an icon either like this to the right or to the left. So it looks like a button, but it's designed in such a way that it is not very prominent and can pass for a link with an icon. You see it in all these view more, read more, but we're going to do that too. Excuse me. Then for input fields are spaces where users can enter text within a product. So like we create text input fields, date input fields, email input fields, password input fields. Then labels, these are what you see on top of your input fields, like your name, email address, enter name, like stuff like that. Then navigation menus, we have two types, the ones for the desktop apps and then the ones for your mobile devices. Yeah, so for mobile devices, you have your bottom the top of the screen. If it's a mobile responsive web design or web product, that is a web product like that has been adjusted or adapted to a mobile device, then what you would have would be a menu, a hamburger menu, like an icon with three lines or three dots, or two lines, two horizontal lines, or three vertical dots. Yeah. Then would also create cards and modals. And then if there's still time, we'll then do progress indicators and alerts. So I will be creating all these one after the other. And as I'm creating them, I'll be talking about best practices, what not to do, uh, how best to go about things. Yeah, that's how it will go. Okay, so let's start. I think I will share my screen now. Mhm. Okay, so this is the file that we'll be working with. The um PLSA files for this is the file we're working with week 3. I think I would have to rename it. How many pages is reloading? Okay. So I'm going into the file now. I think I should give me a minute. Let me but before I go on, I would like to confirm if the audio is clear enough because I'm actually not using headphones and I'm kind of how is the audio? Is it clear enough?
Yes, yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. And I guess I'll just continue. Okay, so I already prepared these files, these sections. These are called sections. I don't think I showed you how to create a section in the last class. But basically, to create a section, you either come here and then you click on create a section, or you just press Shift S and then you can drag and create your section. And so that is how these were created. So this is what I'm going to be using to create the different UI elements. So but what I will do first would be I would list out the UI elements just for yeah. So let me I've typed T for the text or type tool, and then so let me increase the font. Let's make it 20. So we'll be creating buttons, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Oh, okay. Then also input fields. Okay. Input fields. So we'll do input fields for text, for password, for email, and let's say for date. Yeah, for date. Then labels. These labels will go with the input field, but basically they're just telling us what the input field um, what the input field is all about, what it's for. It's okay. So after that, after labels, think what next? Yeah, then nav bars and where's that? Okay, so nav menu. So yeah, then cards. Cards in UI design are basically they like I'm sure you've seen e-commerce sites either like so they're used to present like information a mixture when you want to present both images and text as a group. It's like the best option would be to use cards where you see an image or and then text will be under and they are all like in the same within the same frame, within the same border. Okay, so let's continue. Then the next one would be modals, then progress indicators, and then alerts. Okay, modals, progress indicators, and alerts. Okay, so this is this. All right. So I'm going to move on to the next section. Is this? And the first thing going to do is create buttons. So let me also make this white. So let me put button here. So since I'm the only one working on this file now, I believe I should be able to make use of each segment. Or rather each section. Okay. So to create a button, you start with text. You actually start with text by pressing your C, letter C, or coming here and clicking on C to get text. Then you click on wherever it is you want. And let me set my font size to 16, right? Then I will type and set it to medium. Yeah, the font weight to medium. So it's 16 medium, then I'll type button. And so this is it. Button starts with a text. So what we'll do is, so since I haven't taught you auto layouts yet, I'm not going to auto layout this. It might be a little confusing. We'll have to treat auto layout as a separate. So one way would have been to just auto layout this and then add a background. But what we're going to do is we have this text here. Now we're going to create a frame. We'll put this text within a frame. So by pressing F, I can drag. Okay, and let's say this is the size I want. Then for color, let me make the color. Let's see. Let me pick this. I think this should be saturated, When I say saturation, I mean richness. So like I need a very saturated color that is very deep. So let me move it from red. This is, as I said, this is called the hue, right? So I'm changing the hue to, let's say, blue, a deep blue. Yeah, okay, let's go with purple. Yeah, this is good. So it's always good to name your frames or name your layers or name your boxes, but make sure that anything that you've placed that you're designing, it's always good to name it. There are reasons, like when you want to prototype, it's actually easier to prototype when you've named frames. And even for collaboration, it's always good to name frames. So let's name this button. Yeah, let's name this button. So I'm going to take this text and then I would put it inside this frame. I remember what we said about frames, that anything within a frame is under it. So look, the button text is under this button. So then I'm going to come here. So we have a button, right? So that is how simple it is. Just a button. So now there's still a lot we could do with this. We could decide to add icons to this button. We could decide I need to change the colors. The contrast there is not much contrast. So let me make it white because the background color is dark. Yeah, so now it's better. So let's give this a corner radius first. Let's give this a corner radius by coming here. And then let's say a corner radius of 4. So like it is rounded, but not very rounded. Okay. So can you see it's rounded but not very rounded? That's the corner radius of 4. So we have a button, but the button doesn't have an icon. Icon serve as direction. So the icon can be either on the right or it can be on the left. So let's create an icon. So there's a popular plugin. So you get plugins, you just click on, like you just right click, and then you come here to plugins, and you either go to save plugins, whatever. So I haven't saved any plugins. The only plugins I've saved on this account are this is this avatar plugin which I used last week. So let's go to manage plugins where you'll be able to search for plugins. So for icons, there's a number of options you can use. You can use Iconify. It gives you flexibility. So basically, Iconify has many icon libraries within it. So you can pick any library. I'll show you what I mean now. Okay, well, give me a minute. It's raining here, so I need to make sure the sound of the rain is not interfering. Just hold on.
Hello, ma, are you still there? Huh?
Okay, so let's continue. Sorry, Tunde, were you asking a question? Oh, he has left. Oh no, you're still here. Tunde, were you
No, I'm
asking a
just
question?
asking if you are still there. No. I'm just
If what?
asking if you are still there because I couldn't hear your
Oh
voice again.
yes.
That's why I was asking.
Oh no. I actually needed to you know, like it's raining, so I needed to make sure that the sound wasn't interfering. Yeah. But were you hearing me before now? Like you were hearing what I was saying?
Yes. I'm hearing you.
Okay,
Thanks.
that's great. Let's continue. So okay, so this Iconify plugin, so it's open here, over 200,000 open source icons, 150 plus icon sets. So basically, you can get icons, lots and lots of icons from Iconify. But before we run it, that is to use it, we have to save it. I'm going to click on this to save it to my plugins. So that but when I right click like this and see plugins, and click on save plugins, it will show. So it has joined these avatars and Iconify. So I'll just click on it to run it. I could have run it from there, but I just wanted to show you how how like it would work if you save. So it has a search feature where you come and then you search for whatever type of icon you want. So these are called icon libraries. These are called icon libraries, material symbols, which are like Google icons, Google symbols, material, Google material again, material. Then we have phosphor icons, solar icons, tabular icons, huge icons. So for consistency, if you're using Iconify for any design, make sure that you are sticking to one icon library. Don't just come out because some people will just come here and search. Let me show you, for instance. If I come here and search arrow, which is the icon that I want us to find, see, it has brought you all the libraries that have the arrow icon. All these are libraries. And then it will now bring all the arrow icons from the different libraries and join them together. You'd have pages upon pages of icons. But I don't want to be working from different libraries, so that because some look at this is thick, this is slim, this is pointing up. So instead, what I'll do is I will come here. So this serves like a filter. And then depending on the icon that I want to use, let's say I want to use ant design icons. Or rather, let me use feather icon. And I'll click on feather icon. So it will filter everything and it would only give me arrow icons from feather icon. So look at all the arrow icons from feather icon. Yeah. So that's the one that's selected. So if I don't want feather icons, I can come and click iconoi or iconeer icons. And yeah, it will bring me only the icons from iconoi or iconoi. I don't really know how to pronounce Yeah, so let's see which one would we use. Let's stick with no. The icons are too tiny. So let me go back to feather icons. I actually like feather icons. So with feather icons, what we actually have here are not arrows. These are called chevrons. Yeah, they look like arrows, but arrows are the ones that have a line, a horizontal line or a vertical line after the point, or rather the pointer. So let's use this. So once you click on any icon, it will bring it out, enlarge it, and then you can change the color, right? You can change where the icon will be inside. Like now, click on button, it will be inside the button parent layer. So then you can either import, then you just click on import icon. So that is it. Then I want to keep the plugin window open. So like after I click on import icon, this doesn't close. So I'll click import icon. It has imported. You can see it. It has gotten under the button frame. See, it's inside the button. We can't see it now because it's on top. So what I'll do is, so that I won't close this, and I'll come here. This means to minimize plugin. It means that I can close it and it will not disappear entirely. It will still be, I can move it around to still be here. So look at our icon. Let's change the color to white. Look at where I'll change color. Don't come here. If you actually activate this, is the background. All icons have backgrounds because they are inside frames. So if you come to this field is talking about the background of the icon. So if you change this color, it won't affect the icon. Instead, it will just affect the background of the icon. So this is the color that we want to change, selection colors. That's the colors within the frame. So I'll come here and change it to white. FFF is the hex code for white. But you can get that on Figma by just typing F. I hope everyone is hearing me. So the reason why I did not close
Yes.
this icon, yeah, thank you for that. The reason why I didn't close this plugin, this icon plugin, is so that I can get another icon. I want another one here. So I will just come here, show plugin, and then I would scroll down and then select this one that's pointing to the left. Then import icon. So it has imported it. So I can decide to close this now by just clicking on this X, or I can still minimize it. So we have another one here, and then I'll change the color again to F. So it's not so far when you're creating a button, you actually do not need two icons. You just need one. But how this helps is maybe when you're creating components, or like now this button, but you want to reuse this button. You want to reuse it not just once, but like multiple times in your design. And at one point, you know that this one will show. So you hide it. You can hide it by coming here and clicking on this eye. It will disappear, right? And then you come here. If you don't want this one to be here, you can make this appear. But I don't need this. I only need one. So I'll make this appear. Click on this, and then I'll delete this. So we have this and this. So now I've selected the two of them. I'll make sure that they are on the same horizontal line by aligning them, making sure that they are aligned to the center, right? So now they are in the center of one of each other, and I'll make sure that they are in the middle. If I come here and put align to middle, all of them will join together. So I'm not going to do that. So instead, I would use my cursor. I'll press Alt and then use my cursor, click, and then drag. Sorry, not Alt. I'll click on it. So I'm pressing Alt to see the spacing. It's 13 from here, 13 up, 13 down, 22 up, 22 to the right, 52 to the left. So I want it to be in the center, meaning that I want the space here to be equal to the space here. So I would use my arrow keys, and then I'll press shift so that I can jump 10 times. Can you see we're jumping in tens? Before it was 22. That's because I pressed shift. If I remove shift, we'll just be moving in ones. And if I remove alt, if I stop pressing alt, you will not be able to see the measurements again. So to see measurements, you press alt. And now I'm pressing alt and shift so that I can see the measurement and then I can move in 10. So we've jumped 43. So now let me stop pressing shift and begin to move little by little. So 37 to the left, 37 to the right. So it's in the middle, it's equal. And then between the button and the icon, between the button text and the icon, we have 7 pixel spacing. That's the spacing. I can change it. I can make it 8. Okay, so you see, that's become 8. And then I'll come here and make sure that they are aligned. So now, this is 37, this is 26. But if I move it again, 36, 27, so I'll just leave it the way it was. It's already in the middle. So we've created a button that has an icon. That is it. So this is called a primary button. So I will need to label it. Now let me get text by typing T, then primary button. So I want to know the distance 39. Let me bring it down and see. So we created a primary button. Now I want to create a secondary button. So I will select the two of them, both the button and the text. Then I will press Alt, Shift, and then drag. I'm pressing Alt, Shift, and drag to duplicate. Or another alternative is just Control D to duplicate, and then you drag. So now let me name this secondary button. Yes. So now we've created the primary button, which is the most prominent button in your product. Now we want to create the secondary button, which is like the second option button for secondary options that are not, that are less important. So what you need to do is you need to decrease or reduce emphasis. So there's this thing, if you're creating mobile apps, so there are actually two types of secondary buttons. There's the one that is common with mobile apps, and then there's the one that is common with web apps. So for web, if you're creating a secondary button for web, the secondary button will just have a stroke. It will just have a border, a stroke. It will not have a fill. So it will be transparent, and then it will have a stroke. So let us give the stroke the same color. So this is where it has a stroke now. Then we want to make the text. So I'll click outside. Then now these are selection colors. This is the color of the text, but we cannot see it because the background is white. But look at the text is white and the background and the icon is white. So we'll come here. I want to copy this code, Control C, and then I'll paste it here, Control V. Sorry, I think I didn't copy the right thing. So let me copy this, Control C, and I'll paste this here, Control V. So the text has become purple. So this type of button, secondary button, is common for web apps. So let me increase the stroke. Make the stroke. Now this is how you can control the width of the stroke, the thickness of the stroke. Here the stroke is 1 pixels. I can make mine 2 pixels. So now the stroke is more pronounced, right? Now the second type of secondary button is when you use a lighter color for your secondary button. Yeah, a lighter color. So let's try it. It's not stroked now. So it's going to have a fill. It's going to have a fill, but this fill will be lighter. So we're still on purple, right? So I would move like this. Let's yeah, let's say like this. And then my what is inside my frame, the color will also change. So let me change the color of the text. Don't select fill, because remember that you also selected an icon, right? So if you add fill here, it will give you icon in background. So, but we don't want that, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come selection color, and we'll click on the color, and then we'll pick this color. So this is it. This is another type of secondary button. Before now, for secondary button, they used to make secondary and primary buttons different colors, but that is no longer good practice. What you see is primary button will be purple, then secondary button will now be will be like red or something. Yeah, but like they would make it different colors. But that is not good practice anymore. You want to make sure that your secondary button does not draw too much attention. So it should either be something like this or something like this, not to give this red or a different color. The two of them will be fighting for attention, right? So you don't do this. The two of them will be fighting for attention. Instead, you do something like older apps used to have something like this. One button would be this, another one will be red. Like say they want to ask you to cancel something. Maybe cancel, then this would be delete or something. Yeah, so that's not right practice. So we've created our secondary buttons. Now I want us to create our tertiary button. Okay, let me still select the primary button. Okay, no, let me select this here. Our tertiary button. So I'm selecting the two. And the way I did before, Shift Alt, click, and then drag. So that's why I used to duplicate it. So I'll come here, type tertiary. Oh, okay. Tertiary button. So as I said, tertiary button has no background and it has no stroke. So very easy for us. We just come here and then we'll just close the eyes of our stroke. So this is it. Your button is complete. Just the text and the arrow. That's all. That's all for a tertiary button. So I think we're done with buttons. Any questions so far? Like it's actually a lot more complicated way of making buttons, but with this, you can actually use this and then go like and build your product or build your design. A better way would be to use auto layouts, but we would not go into auto layouts until we will not go into that until we've treated auto layouts, which will be in either the next class or the class after that. So like any questions so far before we move on to the next elements, design elements, or rather UI elements. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I just want to ask for the text, the
Yes.
typeface and the font that you are using.
Okay, the typeface. Let me show you. I think what typeface am I using?
The font.
I'm using Inter. Inter is like the default font for Figma. So once you press text,
Okay.
what usually comes up is this Inter here. And then font is 20 for this. But for the button, I also use Inter, but I use 16. 16 for the button. 16 pixels. So that's the so I think I want to do something with this. So like, do you have any other question?
And sorry, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay. Did you
for
say
the
yes?
text. Yes, I
Okay, yeah.
want
Go
to
ahead.
ask another question. For
Yes,
the
please go
text,
ahead.
like the labeling, primary button, secondary button, tertiary button. So when you are at time when you are typing,
Uh,
like that button will
yes.
jump to second line. Is it that you have aligned your text?
Okay, it looks like it is underlined, right?
No, not
What do you mean?
underline.
Please
What
come
I'm
again.
saying is it that you've aligned your text to horizontal? Because at times when you are typing in Figma, like when the word or the sentence are long, when they are long,
Mm-hmm.
that the
Yes.
time that it will jump to second line,
Oh, yes. There's a way
it
you
will
can
not
set it.
be on the same line. Is it that you've
Yes.
aligned them?
No, I've not. But like there's a way you can set it. So this is it. It's because the text is short. For this
Yes.
text here, right? Let me show you. Let me select that one. See, that one is longer. Yeah. So this thing, look at, can you see here? These three, where my mouse is, we have
Yes.
auto width, auto height, and text box. So if I select text box, it means that there's a box, that this place has become a box where this text is. So anything that I type, the box won't change. It will still be a box. That is for text box. But then if I put it to auto height, this is the one that you use if you want to make sure that that the size of this thing does not, that the width, it does not get longer. So if I continue typing from here, it will go to the next line because this, the width, the sides are fixed. It doesn't change. It's just the height that changes. But if I set it to like this, auto width, then it will keep on typing on a straight line. So if you don't want your text to keep on typing on a straight line, you either make it a text box or you make it auto width. And then when you make it auto width, you'd have to come to the
Okay.
width. Yeah, and change the width itself. So I think before our width was 422. Yeah, wait, so I would come here 422 and see it to change. Then I'll come and delete it. So did that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So let's now move on to input fields. So we'll use this section. Let me also make this white. Then I want to rename it by either double tapping on it here or double clicking on it, or coming here and double clicking on it too. So that's how you can rename your titles, either page titles, frame titles. So I'll type input field. Okay. So that is this. So the same way we did the buttons, we're also going to start with text too. The same way we started with the buttons, we'll start with text. And then the reason why I still kept this plugin here is because we also need icons. So the input fields we are going to make are for text, or rather, let's not say text, let's say user. Imagine if you want to sign into an account now. You'll be asked for, let's say, username, password. Let me just turn it to see what I'm showing you. So now I want it to be 422. Yes. So like the width of this text now will be fixed. So we're going to do for username, password, email, and date. I think we'll do input field and labels together because you can't actually do it separately. Without an input field, a label is just a text. So let's say input field and label. Okay. Yes, so as usual, we'll start with a text, and I'm going to just type T. So because 16 pixels was the last, rather, because okay, wait, let me just type, let me press first. So because 20 pixels was the last text size, font size that I used before, like that I clicked on before. That's how Figma works. If you click on any text, it's automatically, when you want to create another text, it will give you the properties of that text. So if I press C for text, okay, what it will give me would be also 20 pixels too. But assuming I came and selected this text. Now I've selected it, so I just brought my cursor here. If I come here, click here, and then press T, you see it has changed. It will give me 16 pixels because it was 16 pixels that I used here. So that's what Figma does. So I'm going to type, so the first one we want to create is a username. So I will type enter your username. So this is the text that will be inside the input field. Imagine you want to sign in, and then you're supposed to type your username. This is what you will see within that box that you're supposed to type into. That is the input field. So again, we want to create a frame. I'll come and click on F, and then I'll drag. So we're creating our frame. So let's give it this size. Yeah, 314 is okay. Let me say 327. Yeah, so 327. That's the length, the width. Let's make this 40, the height 40. Could be 40, could be 42. So now we want to give this a fill. So there's two ways you can actually give your text box or your input field a fill. I come here, it already has a fill, it's white. But before that, let us rename it. Let's rename it to user name underscore input field. So that's that. Then I want to change the color. So we've already used some colors so far. Don't mind these other colors. So basically we've used white. We've used this light purple. Yeah, no, okay, this is another shade of white. Okay, one is transparent and one is, then we've used this light purple. So I'll click on this light purple, and then I want it to be lighter. So I'll come here and move it towards the white. Yeah, let's move it some more. So that's that. Now it's looking whiter. I think some more. Yes, I think this is okay. So this is the color that we're using. And then I also want to give this a corner radius. I want to make this curve. So you see that on your input fields they are curved. So let's try 12. Let's go for 12. So it is curved. You can't see it now because the color is not, there's not enough contrast. So you should be able to see it's curved. Then now I want to give it a border. Let me type, or a stroke. We call it stroke. So let's so it gives it a black stroke, but you can't have black strokes. So instead, we'll come and look for this purple. Yeah, let's see. This purple is perfect. When you want to give strokes to your input field, you have to make sure that the strokes are light colors. They are not too pronounced. If it was something like black, it would, if that's not right, it doesn't look nice at all. It doesn't look nice at all. Although there are certain design styles that you can use black, but for standard designs, like certain design styles, like I don't know if you've heard of new brutalism, whereby you make use of black, lots of black and dark shadows and borders. But for normal, like for design, like standard designs, make sure that your stroke is not very visible. You can even make the stroke thinner. Like now, this stroke has a thickness of 1. You can make it 0.5. Yeah, so that's in 0.5. Then, so we've created, this is how an input field would look like. Then what it needs now is a text inside that will tell the users what to do, or a placeholder text as, yeah. So we'll put this text inside. Then I want it to be in the middle. It's in the middle. This place is 10 from here and 11. So if I move it down, it will be 11 and 10. So it's still in the middle. So let's now make this 16 from here on to, so there's 16. Now, this text is too thick. It is in, the weight is too much. It's in medium, right? That was what we used for the buttons. So for input fields, we're not going to use text that have too much weight. We're going to use lighter text. So I'll change this to regular. And not only that, there's two things you can do here. So for inputs, for text in your input field, or your placeholder text as it's called, you actually should not make sure that it is too visible. Like using color black for it is actually not best practice. You want to use a light color because this is what the user would see before the user starts typing. It's when the user starts typing that you can have something like this black, when the user starts typing. But before the user starts typing, the text has to be almost transparent. So let's get a different color. So what people will do is that you can either use this black, or you look for a gray color. Yeah, something like this, a gray color. You can still use that black. And then what some people will do is they would reduce the opacity. So instead of 100%, it will now be like, let's say 50%. Okay, let's do 40. Yeah, 40 is okay. It will now be 40%. So this is it. This is how a placeholder would look like if your background is white. But let's say you're designing and your background is not white. Or even if you don't, sometimes you can design placeholders without even a background. So let's say I close this now. It still works. Your placeholder can be like this. Or maybe you will make your stroke more pronounced so that people will see it and know that it's a placeholder. Then maybe I can increase this to 1, the weight of the stroke. So it's more visible now. So it could be this, or you could have a background, yeah, something like this. So for placeholder text, you not just have text, you have icons too. So we need to add probably a user icon. That's the outline of the user, and a user icon here. So let's do that. So I'm going to type user. Then remember, we're using only feather icons. So where are feather icons? I want to select it so that it will give me only feather icons. Okay, look at feather icon here. So look, it brought out user. So I'll select this, and then it's already in username input field, right? So I'll just click on import icon, and then I'll scroll back up. I don't want to X this yet, so I would minimize it. So look at our icon. So now we want to put our icon on this side. And then if the icon is black like this, it's not nice. So we'd also change the color of the icon to something similar to this. So let me copy the color code for this text, which is black, that will reduce the opacity to 40%. So let's now reduce the opacity of this one to, let's say, 60%. Okay, let's say 50. Yeah, 50. Right. So we have this. Now let's move it. I want to move our icon. Yeah. So it's in the middle, and it is 16 pixels from the right. So we will now move this so that there can be space between it and the icon. So how many pixels we want to give? Let's give it, let's say 4 pixel space. Yeah. So this is it. This is an input field. Yeah, this is an input field. So now we want to create a label. A label is that text on top of the input field. Let's duplicate this. Let's duplicate this and make it, let's change the color to our purple. So label is a text that's where you see on top of that tells what the input field is for. So like user name. So yeah, so let's make it 8 pixels away. 8. So it's now, so the distance or the distance between the two elements are 8. So we have our label, and then we have our username input field. Okay, so all right. So yeah, making sure that it's 36, 36. Yes, so that's that. Okay, now we've created that for username. Then let's create that for password. So to make things faster, I'll just duplicate these, make copies of these two, just like I did for the buttons. Let's say, and then I said we should do for email, right? So I'll change this to email. Then I'll type user at rather yeah, user at email.com. So that is the placeholder. Then this person icon will not be here. Instead, what will be here would be a message icon. So let's type message and search on Iconify. So remember that we're using feather icons. So I'm looking for feather icons. Feather icons should have these icons, or maybe they don't have it here. But always make sure that you're using the same icon, like the same from the same icon pack. So since we can't see feather icons here, then let's try Font Awesome Solid. So Font Awesome has solid and regular. Remember I was telling you about different types of icon, the field and the outline. So this solid is the field, this regular is the outline. So far we've been using field icons. If you check, we've been using field icons. So let me use solid. So yeah, but it doesn't even have the message icon that I want. See what it has. I need like a message, like a letter icon. So let me pick another icon pack. Let's say material, let's say Google material icons, but I hope they have field icons. But it's still the same thing. That's the thing with Iconify. There are actually other alternatives. There's another icon pack, just feather icons. Yeah, if I would advise that you actually try it. I think I mentioned it, did I? Or just feather in the last class, or maybe I didn't. The name is just feather icons. This feather icon that we're looking for, it has its own free plugin. Yeah. So I think I've shown you this, right? And I actually want us to stick to feather icons. But I think the feather icons don't have field. The feather icons are all outline icons. And we're using field here. So let's just look for another one. Let me say Google material icon. Should have. Okay, let me type another because sometimes it could be that the icon has a different name. Let's type letter. Oh yeah. So I'm looking for something like this. Yeah, but what we have here, like they are too curved and we're not using curved icons. So I'm going to go to the next page. So it's bringing alphabets for me. So let me still go and type message. Well, let me say email. Yeah, that should bring up something. Oh, yeah. Now it has all the icons, but it still doesn't have feather icons, or does it? Yeah, so I actually don't use Iconify. When I work, I use I either import icons from like from an icon library, like an icon library hosted that has like icon library that has been, like icons that have been developed. Yeah, so I just import the icons to my file so that it will be easier for developers to get the code for the icon instead of the SVG. Or you can go on the Figma community, yeah, and then just look for any icon libraries or files and just bring them. But for speed, and if you're not going to do that, or maybe you're working with your personal project, Iconify, feather icons are good choices. So I'm just going to pick one. Let me see. So let's use this one. I think we've spent enough time here. Let's use this. So there, no, it's looking somehow. Let's say this one. Okay. So I'm supposed to have selected an icon, I think. So I'll select this. Why am I selecting it? So that I can come here and just click on replace. So it makes it easier for me. Yeah, then I'll scroll back up and then minimize. So it just replaced what was here, right? You replace it. And all the fonts were all the icons we're working with are size 24. So as I said, the best icon sizes to work with are 24, which is usually the default icon size you see on Iconify, 24 pixels, 24 by 24. And then if you want to decrease it, maybe for like a smaller button, or what you would use should be 16. So then if you want to increase it, what you would use should be 36, 36. So you have 16, 24, 36. So those are like the standard icon sizes. All right, so I would, I heard a notification. Is someone trying to join? We have just someone on the call. Oh, Sam, today is trying to join. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Mm, okay. So the way we did for this icon, we're going to reduce the opacity to 60. So we'll do that. The color is black, so we don't need to change anything. We just need to reduce the opacity to 60 so that it rhymes. So this is it. We have our email input field. So now we still need to create password and dates. Yeah, so I think after this, we'd have to call it a night because I'm running low on battery. Yeah, I'm running low on battery. So I'll just duplicate this. Then, okay. Yeah. So now I said password, right? So password. Then we need to change this to either input password or asterisk star 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 star. But I don't think that is, you just you use this star when you actually start typing. So instead do input password. So we need to change this to the symbol, the icon for password, which shows like security is a padlock, right? So we need to change this to a padlock icon. So I'll just come and type password on Iconify. And the last icon we used was what icon did we use? We used Wii. What, I don't know what icon pack is that. Oh yes, Wii UI. Okay, Wii UI. So we'll click on Wii UI icons and then search. That's the thing we use in Iconify. Like their icon packs are not complete. Okay, so let's go with this padlock. Yeah, let's go with this padlock. It's material design. Yeah. So let's replace. So that's why it's always important you select, if you're, if you're copying and you want to replace, select the icon that you want. And then if you don't select it, there will be no option to replace. It's only when you select it that Iconify will ask you to replace. So we've replaced it. And then let me minimize it. So I want to do the way I've done, right? Reduce the opacity of the icon to 60 instead of 100 so that it won't be too pronounced. So here we go. Even this 60 is looking to, I'll say let's make all of them 40. Yeah. 60 is looking to, so I'm going to select all of them so that I can just edit at once. I selected 3 of them by pressing Shift. You hover around and press Shift and click. Press Shift, click. That's how you select multiple. And then, oh, I made 150. Then let's make them 40. 40.
Excuse me.
Yes, please go ahead.
All right, just sorry. So for this other field, the first field you did was the username, right?
Yes,
Then
yes, for username.
you duplicated the same thing for the email and password. So I wanted to ask
Yes, I
that
just
sorry, I missed this. I wanted to ask that what shortcut do you use to copy it in a way that let's say the constraint or the spacing between them, how do you do that the
yes.
spacing between them was the same?
Okay, just on your keyboard, Shift, right? Okay, first press Alt, then Shift, then click and drag. Alt,
Okay. Alt
Shift,
shift.
click and drag. Yes.
So that way it's automatically okay. I'll write that down. So automatically the
Yes.
spacing will keep the same spacing, right?
No, it won't keep the same spacing, but like it will be showing you the spacing. Like once you get to the part
Okay.
whereby the spacing is the same, yes. But what that shift, sorry?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, so what that shift does is that it makes you duplicate on a straight line. So you either duplicate horizontally or you duplicate vertically. So if you don't press shift, if you press just alt, you can still
Just
duplicate,
cause
but it will not be on a straight line. Let me show you. So now I'm pressing alt and then I'm clicking and dragging and I can move it anyhow. But once I press shift, it must be on a
yeah.
straight line. So it's either I move it like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so we still need one more icon. So for a password input field, you would have this lock, you would have the placeholder, and then you would have another icon. So we'll duplicate this. We need one icon here where you see something like eyes to show whether you want your password visible or not. So click on this. I want to duplicate it. Control or Shift Alt and then drag. So let's make sure that this place to here is 16. So we also want this place to here to be 16. So it's 19 now. Let's reduce it. Now it's 16. So I'm going to open the plugin again. And I'm going to search for I. So you use two types of eyes, the one that is closed and the one that is open. So there's usually named I open, maybe I asterisk, sorry, not asterisk, I hyphen open or I hyphen close. Then let's see closed. See what here. So you either get I hyphen open or I hyphen close. You could see and either this or something like this. So let's use this because we're using so let's use this. We're using field icons, but this is looking too cold. All our other icons haven't been too cold. So let's use this. So we'll use it to replace material design password. and to replace automatically. And then I would come here and minimize it, and then also reduce the opacity to 40. Yeah, so that's that. So this is how a password input field is supposed to look like. I think we have one more, which is the date. Yeah, date input field. So I'll click on here and here, and then Shift, Alt, and drag. Yes. So let's say dates. Then for dates, what you would have here would be um the date format. So either it would be day, that is dd/mm/yy. That is day, month, here. That's the date format. And then we will change this. We don't need this, so we'll remove this. For date, you don't need this. So we now want to make this 16. Yeah. Then what we're going to do is, this is what we're going to change. We would now change this to a calendar icon, so that once you click on this, your calendar will come out. That is how dates work, right? The calendar will come out. So and for some, you might even be able to type the date the way like it was specified here. You can type, and then you can also click, and then the calendar icon will show up. So let's click on, let's search for calendar. So yeah. So you can pick any one. Let's choose this one. Yeah, this one. So we'll replace OOUI eyes closed. Supposed to replace. Oh, the size. So let me undo. I did not take note of the sizing. To undo is Control Z. Yes, so now the height. Look at the height here. You see, because it's not very pronounced, it's 1024. It's so big. So we want to make it 24, which is the normal size that we've been using for all our icons. So we've made it 24 pixels. Then we can replace. See, it doesn't get to be. Why we didn't see it was because it was too big, right? And usually 24 is supposed to be the standard. I don't know why they made it as 1024. So we'll come here and reduce the opacity to 40 also. So you have your calendar date. So that's it. Let me minimize this. So that's that. So we've done buttons, we've done input fields and labels. So what we need to do next will be nav menu, cards, modals, progress indicators, and alerts. But I don't think we'll be able to do that today. Yes, my power is very low. But we'll continue on Friday. But before then, I want you guys to replicate what I did here. These buttons. So create your own Figma file. So actually have your Figma file for this program. So create one Figma file, title it, name it with your name. So here it should be your name, MLSA Bootcamp, then your name, right? That's where you'll be doing your practical assignment. So if you've not submitted the last assignment that I gave you, so you'd have to do that there too. You have to do that there. You can section your work the way I did yet for order. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. Any questions so far?
Hello, ma.
Yes, I can hear you.
Please, on the assignment, I can't hear you. Was celebrating when you are talking about the assignment.
Oh, okay. So I said you
I
should
just had
replicate
the
what.
assignment.
Yeah, it's all right. I said you should replicate what I did. The buttons and the input fields and labels. So do your own. Create a Figma file and name it, like create a Figma file for this program. It will be your own, like where you'll be doing your assignments. Yes. So that's where you would do it. So you can create those sections. You can section your work the way I did mine, like this. You can do that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Through the link you sent to us.
No, 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 not that link. You will create your own Figma file. So let's go. Let's go. So you come to back to files, right? And then in your own recent, this is where you should come recent here. This is where all it will show you all your files. Click on new design file and you'll be able to create a new file. Then you would now come and give it a title. Maybe name it m okay. Name it MLSA Bootcamp, then underscore your name. My name is Evergreen. So something like this. And then you do your assignment. So you have a page here. So then you'll be able to make your frames. Just do your assignments within here. Yes. So like, is that clear? Then once you
Okay,
are done,
okay,
you come. Okay, then once you're done and you want to submit, you come to share, and then it will be in any, make sure that it is in anyone can view. It will either be in anyone can view or anyone
okay,
can edit, or no one, or only invited people. You want to make sure it is in anyone and then can view so that I'll be able to
okay,
view and comment. Yes. And then once you're done with that, you just copy the link here and you paste it in the form.
okay,
That's how, yes. So that's it.
okay, okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
let me go back. So I guess that is clear. So our next class will be on Friday, by 6 on Friday. So these assignments, you are to do it before our next class so that we can continue with the other elements that we're going to create. Yeah. So just practice, and yeah, just practice basically. Okay. So thank you for joining. I would appreciate it next time if you could join with maybe your system, and then we'll be able to work side by side as I'm doing creating those elements. You'd also be able to experience that on your own end. But thank you for joining, yeah, and I hope you like enjoyed today's class.
That's fine. Yes,
All right.
absolutely yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
thank God. So see you next week. Oh, sorry, not next week. On Friday. Yeah, see you on Friday. Okay. So have a good night, everyone.
you too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.